And we back like we never left.
Right.
What's going on, bro?
Oh, man, I'm good. And yourself, bro?
Man, listen. The world is crazy. World is crazy. So we're gonna warm up real fast because you know sometimes you just gotta get into it and get everything going,
man.
Just
get it, yeah.
Money. How important was the money when you were thinking about, you know what? I want to play football. How important was the money part?
The money part, for me, it was like, well, the money was a big time contributor to, you know, the success of good athletes, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking about playing football or, you know, the sport that I chose to play, you know, I just wanted to have fun and just love what I'm doing, sacking quarterbacks, right? So, but when you get a taste of that money, it's like, okay, you want more, you know what I'm saying? And you start, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I want to get all this other stuff, man. And I mean, it's good stuff, you know, so you just enjoy it, you know, you enjoy playing it. I mean, 25, 26 years old, making some good money, man, that's just good for some young athletes. It ain't even just that. Well, think about this, like, you know, in a lot of cats, and kids be probably frowning up if you see somebody to make that's on the practice squad. Practice squad make between $12,000 and $30,000 a week. Yeah, man.
No, let me say, how much your mama make growing up a year?
Sure, I think she made like about 25, 30.
Practice squad.
Wow.
Makes $12,500 to almost $30,000 a week.
Yeah.
Just on the practice squad. And obviously, if you get bumped up to regular roster and things like that, you get up prorated and things like that. Money's important, man. Money is important in sports, and the reason we bring it, I mean, because a lot of kids, that's what they play for. Yeah, they play for. I mean, I never take away anybody's love of the game. We know how much we love the game. Yeah, but you know, when you think about, I want to go to the Maldives. I want to go to Puerto Rico.
I want to buy my mom a house. I want to buy my mom a car. I want to make sure my mom and my dad are good.
Make sure my boys are straight.
Yeah, make sure my boy. Yeah, you're looking at the whole big picture, right? And we know for sure that if you're making, you know, $5,000, that's not enough to take care of your crew. So, you know, the cool thing about sports is that, you know, it's unlimited. Whatever, if you're great, you're great. You're gonna get paid to be great, you know. So that's the cool thing about sports is that no matter what it is, if you want to make, you know, money like a walk-on, I guess you want to call it, a practice squad player, you know, whatever.
It's there still.
It's there. I mean, it's life-changing. I mean, you're talking about 16 games plus, you got playoffs and championships, right?
Because you got off season, you got mini camps, you got all that stuff matters too. That's all money.
Your signing bonus you get up front, you know. So when you're looking at all of that, man, it's life changing for some of these young athletes. I mean, you know, the cool thing about it is that you make more than what a regular person working in any school district, any job, you making that salary in 2 months.
But the thing about it, when you in those sports and you making that salary, we know that it ain't doo-doo.
Right.
And that's the thing where it comes to, like, when you in those sports and you making that salary, you like, well, dang, I need to be making what he making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You count somebody else's pockets, and right now we're gonna talk about the dark side, though. The dark side of the money. And you know, people have been getting buried in the desert for ages because of what they owe a bookie or a casino and things like that. So this episode, y'all, we're gonna talk about the dark side of gambling in sports. And like I said, me and T, we not really no gamblers like that. Like I said, I do fantasy football. I guess you could say that's gambling a little bit.
I guess I'm gambling too. I'm in the stock market.
Yeah, stock market. We gamble all the time on different things like that. But we talk about, like, you know, we got FanDuel, we got Prize Picks, we got all these places right now where and I know, shameless promotion for them. Hopefully they see this.
Oh yeah,
FanDuel. But we got all these places, you know, where gambling and things like that, where it's legal. Whereas if you think about 20 years ago. You know, where we go back to the 70s with Pete Rose, when you get ousted from a sport because you're gambling on the sport. Like,
right.
You know, tell me what you think as an athlete. if you would have walked in at 1920 and FanDuel was right there, like, and you see your boys in the locker room looking at their stats and all that stuff.
First off, man, you put me all the way to 1920. You ain't say 1990.
I said the 1900s.
You said 1920, bro.
Well,
like
shoot.
I don't know.
Well, leather helmets.
Let's say 2000.
All right, let's go back to 90. Let's go to 98, 99.
Right,
Walking in the locker room.
Man, I will say, if it wasn't like, if they had like a organized process for us, right? Mm-hmm. I don't gamble, so it was like, for me, when I saw things like that going on, it was just what you betting on. Like, I mean, what's your chances are, like, because I look at odds, right? Statistics makes a lot for me. I mean, I look at all of that. Your chances of winning is very slim, especially when you got a bookie. And we saw all those movies, bro. Like, you don't. Yeah. Hey, one thing, I don't want to get in debt. I don't want to be in a bad position where somebody gonna knock me over the head and carry me to a desert.
Not with a baseball bat, little.
But if back then, man, in honesty, as you look at all of that, I mean, it's really creative, the things that are coming up with now, to a point where, if you wanted to gamble against the game, or you wanted to make a quick pick, or whatever it may be third quarter, and you may say, oh, they're gonna score again. You bet $1,000 on it, and you win $2,000-$3,000 just from that one bet. I mean, I think it's beneficial for certain people, but also, like, we talk about the dark side of it, like these athletes, man, and what these people who betting in these games, I mean, it's bringing a lot of attention to sports, right? It brings a ton of attention to it. At the same time, when you're looking at this big picture of sports, I mean, shoot, these guys, some people losing their life over this stuff, man. It's dangerous, bro.
I mean, but you look at it like this, like ESPN. I was looking, I'm just gonna look at my notes right here, y'all, because listen, we prepare. We prepare for what we doing. Like, ESPN has a 10-year, $1.5 billion deal with Penn Entertainment. Like, $1.5 billion over 10 years, because it deals with professional sports betting and things like that in the United States. You have all the sports books in Las Vegas, where you walk into Vegas and all you see is TVs with different games playing and things like that. Where you can turn on ESPN right now and you say, oh, the Lions are 4.5-point favorite tonight, against the Bears, or the Vikings and things like that. Like, none of that. And when we take that now and we think about it, it's like, oh, we're looking at, okay, well, they're favored to win the game, but we're not even thinking about why they're saying this to the customers that are watching these games, man.
Yeah, because you got money on it. Yeah. I mean, when you got money on stuff, man, it's a whole different ball game, right? Because you got referees now. You know what I'm saying? We got referees that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like, how do we make this all work for us so that we can profit off of it? Like, that's dangerous, man. Like, you got people in the stands just kind of watching the game. They just see the game, and they're not even seeing what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, you know what? And even like you think about the dangers of that when it comes to college athletes, where I read a story a couple years back about a North Carolina forward who I think he said I had a good game, and I think he had like almost 20 points and 8 rebounds in that game. And he said he woke up to 100 DMs, because when you looked at the parlay for him, he's supposed to have, if he had 10 rebounds, people are winning, they doubling their money up. So they sending him threats saying, why didn't you go grab 2 more rebounds? Man. Like, things like that. So how do you feel like that's affecting the college kids?
Yeah,
mentally, and their mental health.
That's mentally damaging, because you thinking as an athlete, I'm just having fun. I'm in college. I
had a hell of a game.
I balled out, right? I balled out, and it's like, all of a sudden you see your DMs and you like got random people contacting you or and trying to get in contact with you, like, hey man, death threats on you, bro. That's a whole nother ball game, because the kids not even thinking about all of that. They just going out there trying to win a game, and they trying to give themselves stock ability to go to the next level, right? And in reality, these grown men that's out here losing their homes and losing their cars for you gambling, bro. Yeah. It's a risk behind you. You risking your house, that's on you, bro. Like, don't blame it on the kid that don't even have a clue of what's going on.
Yeah, and all he doing is playing for your team. Well, he probably ain't your team, because again, if y'all
just betting. He don't
betting.
even like the team. He like, hey, I'm gonna send a death threat to this kid. Man, get out of here with that crap, man.
And then, like I said, it's affecting the kids' mental health. And you think about just mental health in general,
right?
And obviously, I think in the future we're definitely gonna dive into mental health,
right?
Where You have guys like Calvin Ridley who had a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
Like as an athlete who's been hurt before, I'm not saying that you've been seasoned, but as an athlete been hurt, what does that mentally do to you first before we dive back into what happened with him?
Oh man, when you get hurt, right, and you know you can't put out, you can't contribute, you just on a team and you were a starter, you know, it does multiple things to you. You know, you feel like you're less than, you know, you fall into a dark space, especially if you don't have anybody to talk to kind of encourage you, hey, everything's going to be okay. And, you know, because most athletes, man, like I'm going to be honest with you, most athletes go to school for an education, but most athletes go to school for that sport. And when you're going to school for that sport and you can't produce or you don't have the opportunity to go out there and play, because you're down, ACL, MCL, whatever it may be, concussion, protocol, you may have your 5th or 6th concussion, you can't play anymore. Man, it does something to you to a point where you kind of just start falling into this space where if coaches don't catch you, you probably would never recover from it, because mentally it does a lot of mental damage to young athletes who've been those stars in high school.
And again, like dealing with, and obviously, you know, I'm glad that Calvin Ridley's back playing and he's fine and his mental health and working on things like that. But when you think about just, you know, what he went through is that, you know, and it's from the ESPN report that I read before saying that, you know, he was in a dark place. He's isolated. And he turned to something just to keep his mind off his injury.
Right.
And now you're betting on the sport that you play. And obviously, as a player, and we know that, you know, dealing with the NFLPA, you know that you sign things that say that I can't gamble on sport on my sport.
Right.
So hearing that and seeing that from this athlete, knowing what he's going through, and he faced a season-long suspension because of it.
He did, yeah.
What can you tell your athletes when it comes to dealing with your mental health when you can't play the sport that you love?
I tell them all, seek counseling, man. Seek somebody that's going to be able to help you navigate through that process of what you're going through. Because at the end of the day, you still want to continue to play that sport. So no matter what injury you have or what concussion you have or just mental status, if you're just not mentally ready to play the game and your coach has got you sitting on the bench, I say go see someone that you could talk to that kind of can help you, guide you through that journey. Because not saying that you're never going to play again, just saying that, you know, at this moment you need some help to kind of navigate and understand why you're going through this and why you feel in this certain way. So I tell a lot of people that like guys I coach and stuff, man, I'm a phone call away, right? So I just say, hey, if you're feeling a certain way, because I got kids all over, so they call me all the time. Hey, coach, I'm feeling a certain way, man. This is what I want to do. And I try to help them navigate through that process. I'm not saying I'm a counselor. Don't call me. I'm going to give you my best advice as a mentor to kind of help you through this process. But at the same time, with what happened to that guy, Ridley, it's just when you're looking at the big picture, you know, you got to make the right decisions. You got to understand what's a right and what's a wrong decision, because that one decision can affect you for the rest of your life. And put a stigma on your name. And that's some of the things that young athletes don't understand is that, okay, well, since I can't play, I'm going to bet against the game I'm playing because I know all the athletes. Yeah. No, you can't do that. That's just, I would say, if you were an athlete, I would just say, hey, don't even think about the gambling aspect of things. You can make a quick dollar. I would say if you're going to try to gamble, go into the stock market. It's a little bit safer and a little bit, you know, you won't lose your career.
Real estate.
I say I love real estate, so I would say, hey, if you're going to invest in something you want to make some quick money, or if you got a couple $100, I would say put it in the stock market to watch it grow.
And it's twofold right here, because this is where I'm probably going to lean more towards the athlete with some of the things like this, but especially when you deal with depression, anxiety. Yeah. The one thing that a lot of those guys can't do, as much as we say, hey, I'm here for you, I'm a call away, they can't decipher that. They don't know how to. Making that step is the hardest step for them
because they're embarrassed of how they're feeling.
And that's the thing. We're make sure you have good people on your team.
Right.
That's where I feel like people who's going to always be checking on you, not checking on you because you got the money,
right?
But really just give a damn about you
as an individual, right?
And that's the one thing I think a lot of athletes don't know if they have. They don't know if they
because a lot of athletes don't have that. You know, that's the scary part about playing college ball, pro ball. Because you playing college ball, everybody like, oh, he about to go pro, and then you go pro. Then all of a sudden, your nucleus of people that you already have in your circle is limited just based off of the real people that's in there for you and just you, and not understanding or not that you got people in your life that's there for your well-being throughout, right? But also you're gonna have people there just to kind of hang out and just just kind of ride the wave. You know what I mean? So,
and you think about that, it's just even saying that part. You got Shohei Otani. He played for the Dodgers. I don't know if you know much about him. His interpreter, so someone who's there to help you.
Wow.
With the English language.
Wow.
Your day to day, stole millions of dollars of Otani's money to cover his personal debt.
Yeah, but bro, when you looking at stuff like that, right? That's why I tell you got to know exactly who you have in your circle.
But how do you know? I mean, how would you know that? Because you don't. If I'm your friend,
he's an interpreter. He shouldn't have access to his cash or his money.
But he's helping him on it every day.
But
I'm
telling you,
it's just like me and you sitting like this. This is where he is.
But do you have access to my account?
Nah, I don't.
You got what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna get my access to my account. Yeah. You know, and that's where these young men have to be careful, right? When you're talking about money, you're talking about, okay, if I make $15, $20 million in a lifetime, right? I have to be smart enough to put that money away for retirement. I can't go out there and buy the Bentleys and, all these other rides that these cats be out here.
Let me tell you about how much he made. He signed a contract for $700 million. His baseball contract was $700 million.
So how much he lose again?
It's just a couple mil.
Oh, okay.
So he probably wouldn't have saw it.
He wouldn't have never saw it. He wouldn't have saw it. But he did. But what happened? What happened?
Now the guy's getting ready to go to prison.
All right.
Actually, he getting ready to get deported.
Right.
So, and the guy we're talking about, he's Japanese.
Correct.
His family moved here when he was, I think, 5 or 6 years old. So he's technically never really lived in Japan. Wow. But he's not a U.S. citizen. So they're going to deport him probably.
Yeah.
And you don't speak Japanese. You speak Japanese because you're an interpreter, but you've never lived in Japan.
Yeah.
So now you've done all this stuff, and look where you end up at. And that's where it's like, when we're talking about the people around you, your circle, and things like that. I should we just talk about having a good circle. I should be able to trust my circle.
You should be able to trust your circle, but also you got to be careful you got to be smart, because when it comes to money changed people. So when you're looking at this big picture and you got a little money but that ain't a little money. That's a lot of money. That's almost $1 billion.
So, that's just his baseball contract. We ain't even talking about the endorsements.
Endorsements, yeah. So this guy probably worth $1 billion, right? And all he probably had to do is, hey man, I got this debt I need to pay. Can you look out for me? He would have been taken care of. Like, it's just like common sense things that people don't do, and they probably embarrassed behind it. But your circle is gonna. It's like it's like, okay, if this is who I'm hanging with, that's how everybody gonna view you. That's just how it works, right? So it's like, how do you put yourself in a good position and put yourself around those type of people that's gonna be beneficial for you? LeBron James worth $1 billion, right? Right,
probably a few billion.
Right. But his network. What does network look like, bro?
Exactly.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, he put his boys to school, put them through school, right? Paid for them to go to school.
Yeah. I mean, you got that. You got guys. Just put them in positions.
Put them in position. I mean, if he didn't pay for them to go to school, he still put them in position because he built the team. Like, that's what I look at. I look at building a team, and like I said, I do a little real estate. So it's like the goal is for me to build a team around me, and so that we can start buying up and doing things locally and all over the world. So that's what this is about, man. Just putting right people in your circle that can kind of help you continue to grow, but also help them grow as well.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, I'm a firm believer in having the right people in your circle.
Right.
But how do you protect yourself from yourself too? Because the thing will happen with a lot of money, and this kind of gives. And again, we're talking about gambling and things like that, right, y'all? Now you got Jonte Porter, brother played for the Toronto Raptors.
Right.
Brother played for the Denver Nuggets. And you out here you're gambling on your own stats and taking yourself out of games.
We just talk about NFLPA and
the
structure behind not
to
gambling.
me, that's integrity. That right there, that's
because he knew.
Yeah,
he knew.
And you heard your team.
Yeah, he did it intentionally.
Yeah.
So when you do things intentionally, you deserve.
I don't have any. I
don't feel sorry for you at all, because you knew personally what you were getting yourself into. You knew that you weren't supposed to do this, and then all of a sudden you feel, and you want somebody to feel empathy for you on what you're going through. I say for those guys who are thinking about betting and still playing the game, don't bet, man. You got all your life after that sport. You may be playing that sport for 3 to 5 years. That's it.
Yeah.
Man, go ahead, bro.
No, and this is what's gonna kind of lead me to the next question. Like, you know what prop betting is? So prop betting would be, all right, Terrell, you're a defensive end. I'm betting on Terrell that he gonna have 1.5 sacks today. You're gonna have more than one. You're gonna have more than a sack. And so if I get more than a sack, I get an extra $100 on top of my bet. So if I get all these guys, so you had a sack. Patrick Mahomes out here, he throw for 200 yards. Jameer Gibbs run for 100 yards. This receiver gets 100 yards, and so I get all 5 of those things. That's when I win the money, the real money. I don't get all 5 of those, then I lose. Do you feel like prop bets in college? Like, again, we were talking about the guy with the 2 rebounds. You feel like that's something that should be banned for sports in general, for sports betting? You feel like it should just be out here 4.5 points, and that's just a bet?
No, I mean, if it's betting, bro, it's betting. I think if you're going to bet on something that may not happen, because the chances of all 5 of those things are lining up together, the chances of that happen is very slim, right? So you do your odds behind your bet, right? I say personally, right, if we ain't, regardless if they legalized it, and just say they didn't have it legalized, but it was going on, right? So if we do the simple math behind it. If you're going to gamble on a game, now I'm against all of that, right? So I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't gamble at all. If you're going to gamble, you got to understand behind that gamble it's a big risk. And if you're trying to bet a 5 out of 5, the chances are you're going to be slim. It's going to be a 2 out of 5. That's just how it works. So I tell anybody that's going to try to bet on their house or bet on a car or whatever it may be, bet their last, hey, your chances of winning is going to be slim. I mean, that's like in the stock market too. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, that's betting too.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you look
at betting for years.
Yeah,
man.
that's a game that's never gonna go away though. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like I said, man. With that, we're gonna finish this up. We got one more rep, man. And since we're talking about risk, and I think a lot of things that kind of go on and things like that, I'm gonna ask you personally, what's the biggest risk you've taken?
Ooh. I guess
did it pay off?
All right, one of the biggest risks I ever took, right? You know, I'm from St. Louis, and I moved to Dallas back in 2014. I've never been away from my family that long. I mean, I played over in Europe. I played over in
we're talking about wife and kids.
Wife and kids, my family, my whole entire family, right? We moved all the way from Missouri, from my mom and dad, siblings, all of the above, right? And the biggest risk was, you know, me betting on success, right? I said I got to get away from my hometown to be successful. And when I left St. Louis, I didn't know anybody here, man. And the goal was to put myself in a better position, because in Missouri, you always got people you can count on. In your hometown, you got people you can count on, things like that. So when I moved here, it's a different thing for me, because I didn't have any family. It was just, I had to create family, you know, and I had to put myself in position to not have to count on anybody to succeed, you know, and I just kind of just went from there. That was one of the biggest risks that I ever took. And then I would say one of my other biggest risks is in the stock market.
I think we could talk miles about the stock market and the good and the bad and the risk that's been taken.
Man,
but you know, and I think that's the thing where, you know, growing, and again, it's not to make this about race, but you know, obviously we black.
Yeah.
Growing up black, we don't know about that risk in the stock market, and that risk of our biggest risk is we're gonna go play some craps, you know, and that little bit of money that we got, you know what I mean, or I bet a game here and there, or hell, I buy a house and I lose my job. That's
risk for us.
That's risk for us, man.
Because you said something that just happened, right, to me, like in 2017, right? So I bought my house in 2017. I got fired from my job in 2019. And talking about risk, and you talking about, okay, let's get on that grind.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. hey, God is good, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I can say. Like I made a quick move where it was really beneficial for me and my family to move forward. So, that risk that you take, those risks that you're taking, you just got to have it calculated, and understand that, if it's good, if it's a good risk, you just got to understand you can't put all your marbles in that basket. You always got to diversify your portfolio and your risk. And that don't have to be in the stock market. That could just be diversified portfolio on your decision making in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all know what? We're going to end it there. Y'all know it's not a risk, though. Liking us on social media, sharing and subscribe. That ain't no big risk there. That's just one button, dog. Just go ahead and click it. Wow. You go ahead and click it. T. Tell them what else ain't a risk, man. Tell them where they can find us social media, bro.
This is not a risk. All right. You can find us on IG, the Grindhouse ST, Grindhouse ST on Twitter, the Grindhouse Sports Training on Facebook. Also, you can find us, the Grindhouse ST, on TikTok. All you got to do is just follow us. You can find this information. You can find out good information that you want to know. If you want to find out about sports or want to know where to play a sport or whatever it is in sports, man, we got the connections. We can guide you in the right direction. Don't be afraid to contact us. We love you all, guys.
All right, man. Well, that's the food y'all need, so don't let y'all know. We're going to end it at that. Just know, no grind, no shine. We out.
Peace.
This is Terrell Washington. Thank you for tuning in to the Grindhouse Podcast. If you are enjoying our show, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our content on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, and all other podcast platforms. Remember, you must grind and shine.